Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Deggy again, back with yet another Disney Lorcana card of the day. And today's card of the day is going to be Goofy, Musketeer. Now Goofy is an amber card. He costs 5 ink, but he is inkable. So again, you can place him into your inkwell. He has 3 strength, 6 willpower, and he quests for 1 lore. He has like 1.5 abilities. His half ability is bodyguard. So when you play him, you can put him into play exerted. And then if your opponent wants to challenge any of your characters, they have to challenge Goofy first, or any character with bodyguard. And you don't have to put him into play exerted. I should note that. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. And his other ability, or his main ability, is called And 2 for T. And it reads, when you play this character, you may remove up to 2 damage from each of your Musketeer characters. Right now, he's like a promo card, but he is going to exist, you know, in the set. And actually, I take that back. So he is a promo card, but he actually is uncommon as far as his rarity goes. And he's also a hero character, and we're seeing more and more heroes, and I do think there might be something with heroes, like there's something with villains. You know, this Goofy is really solid. He is a solid character. He can come down and protect your other characters that can quest for, like, say, 2 lore. So the Amber Mickey, for example, he's a 3 cost, but he can quest for 2 lore. And then we have LeFou. LeFou is a 2 cost who can also quest for 2 lore. And at the time of recording this video, we have Lilo, who's a 1 cost who can quest for 2 lore. So, and those are just in Amber. Those are just Amber ones. That's not counting if you're playing another color and you want to protect your early game high lore characters. Goofy is solid. Goofy is not bad. He has high willpower, so when he comes down exerted, it's going to take some effort for your opponent to get through him. At 6 willpower at that stage of the game, if it is like turn 5 or so, your opponent isn't going to have 1 character on the field that's going to be able to take him out. It's going to be at least 2 characters that have to run into Goofy in order to get rid of him. And with his 3 strength, Goofy's probably going to be banishing those characters that are trying to challenge him. Because you can have characters like Rafiki, who only has 3 strength and 3 willpower. He can come down, you know, challenge into Goofy, but he gets banished. You have Zeus as well, if we're talking about rushers. Zeus would survive, but Zeus also wouldn't take out Goofy. And Zeus would be left with only 1 willpower with no strength to do a counterattack. So, you know, not looking very good. But there's just a lot of characters. And you even have, say, the 4 cost Scar, Fiery Usurper, who has 5 strength but only 3 willpower. He could challenge Goofy, but he'd get banished in return. Goofy is a really good, like, tank. Like, he's a good bodyguard for when he comes down. He is a target for removal, unfortunately. So if you, like, ink on your 5th turn, you have 5 resources, you put Goofy into play, your opponent probably also has 5 resources, and they might play something like Let It Go, or Dragonfire, or if they had ramped or gone first, maybe they have 6 resources and they play something like Genie and they bounce your Goofy back to your hand. I've had that happen. It feels bad. I've also been on the other end where I have done the Genie and bounced my opponent's Goofy. That even just shows, it's more of a case that Goofy is a solid card, right? It's that bodyguard feature. The 6 cost Mickey Mouse was really solid when he came out. He still is really solid, the 6 cost Mickey Mouse. But I'm just pointing that out as like a comparison, because now we have a 5 cost character with a high willpower, you know, really good strength, and he's a nuisance like in the mid game. I think he's a very solid character. Now, I really like him in an Amber Steel deck. Amber has access to the action card Just in Time, where you can play a character that costs 5 or less resources for basically free. But I mean, you pay 3 resources for Just in Time, but you get kind of a discount, I guess. So you get a discount. It's not for free, but you get a discount on the character. And there's some really good targets in an Amber Steel deck for this Goofy, or I'm sorry, for Just in Time. One of them is this Goofy. Of course, then you have Cerberus. Then you have the Steel Beast, who can come into play and banish one of your opponent's items as a another option. So that's really good. And then of course we have Moana, who can come down and can quest for a lot of lore. So what you could do is you could just in time and play Moana, and then like on your next turn get Goofy into play, either through another just in time, or maybe it's turn 4 and then it's turn 5, whatever the reason. You can safely quest with your Moana plus maybe another character or two, while Goofy protects them, because Goofy has a ton of willpower. So I do like Goofy. I think he's actually really, really solid. Now, in a Musketeer deck, because we do have the Steel Mickey Mouse, who gives all of your other Musketeer characters +1 strength. So if you do play Goofy on your turn 5, and then on your turn 6, follow it up with the Mickey Mouse, the Musketeer Mickey Mouse, now Goofy has 4 strength and 6 willpower, and he's going to hurt whatever tries to challenge him. And also, you're going to have 2 bodyguard characters in play, which can help protect your high lore characters. So just keep gaining lore, with your cheaper characters. They have a lot of lore generation, like Lilo, LeFou, Amber Mickey, and if we're playing Steel, we also have access to Kristoff right now, who can also quest for 2 lore. But, these Musketeers will protect those characters, and that's pretty solid. That's not bad. I like him. I think he's actually a really strong card and should be a definite consideration when making an Amber deck. Now, if you're playing a Stitch deck, Stitch Rockstar deck, where the goal is kind of to flood the board, Goofy isn't necessarily a terrible addition, right? You are playing Amber already because of Stitch. He can protect your little dudes when you have them all out there, and then bam, you can drop the Goofy. Now your opponent has to get through Goofy before they even want to try to get through your small army of little people. Yeah, he does cost a lot, and for that same mentality, if you're playing, say, Amber and Steel with Rockstar Stitch, you could play like Hercules. And Amber also has access to Simba, who also is a little bodyguard character who works with Stitch. So, there's other options, but I do want to say that the option is there, that you could do that, and he's not bad. He fits into like almost any deck because he's just a bodyguard character. He just protects your other characters by questing. You can quest, or you can challenge, or he can sing a song. Either way, he's exerted, and now your opponent has to deal with them. Overall, I do think Goofy is a very solid card, and I think he's going to see some play. He might not be in every deck, I will admit. I'm sure probably every Stitch deck isn't going to run Goofy, but if you're playing Amber, or you're going to play like a Musketeer tribal deck or something, absolutely, you got to put Goofy in there. He's really solid. So right now, I'm going to give him like a solid, like 7.5 out of 10. I do want to see if there's another Musketeer character, maybe a cheaper one. If there's a cheaper Musketeer, like that costs 4 or less resources, then Goofy can come down and heal that character. Also, you can play this Goofy on turn 5, and then on turn 6, just play another Goofy and heal the first Goofy. So there's some synergy there. So even if you draw him later in the game, he could still heal your other Musketeer characters. So not bad. He's not too bad. Solid 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. I think he's a good card. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You stay safe out there. Make good decisions, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.